Welcome back to another quick digital breakdown, if you will, by here Kite Consult. Last time we talked about SEO and link building and so on. So I figured this time we take a quick swerve and talk about a topic that everybody always talks about, digital marketing. One is SEO, the other one is social media. And we're definitely going back into the SEO part because there's so much more to discuss. But the questions just always pop up. What about social media? What about social media? So let's discuss what makes a good social media strategy. So when you look at our blog posts on kiteconsult.com, which also talks about how to create social media strategies, you will see that we actually spend lots of time discussing goal setting. What are the goals that we have? And it's really important to figure out what are our KPIs, what are our leads, for example. And if you don't know those words, no problem. That's the right place to be because we will obviously explain all those words to you. So the first thing that you want to look at is what's my goal with my digital marketing campaign that I'm going to run. Quite likely, whatever product or service you offer, you will run several marketing campaigns, not only one. But let's say you focus on one product, one service first, just for the sake of making it a bit easier now. So what's the goal of this campaign? Do you want to make people download something? Do you want to have people subscribe to your newsletter, download apps and whatnot? So you have to figure out what are the goals that we have with this campaign, and then we can start to actually think about how do we achieve those goals. So ideally, you would really take some time, and you can see that I'm stressing this a little bit here, take some time to actually think about it, because from experience, when we go into companies in our first meeting, brainstorming and so on, ask what do you want to achieve? Usually the answer, or not usually, but often the answer is reach people. It's like, yeah, sure. But then you can reaching is one thing, and then what's the next step? Then they see you and then how does it benefit you? So you really need to figure out what's your goal, not just be seen. That's easy, but then making people take action is not that easy. A few of those goals that we see very often being mentioned that are reasonable at points is like increasing brand awareness, increasing leads, maybe even sales, of course, widen the audience, for example. So those are goals that some clients have and that we're then trying to achieve with different directions that the campaigns are taking. One goal that I like that not everybody's focusing on could also be just increase community engagement. If you increase community engagement, this means you have a supportive community behind your product or service that actually discusses what you're doing without you pushing them all the time. So focusing on community building and relationship building could be really beneficial here. So you can see there are lots of different goals. So not everybody has the same goals, and that's a good thing, right? Because that's how we can stand out. So really take some time to think about what are our actual goals, and then we think about how to achieve those. Since we talked about SEO in the previous videos, obviously also have to mention another goal that you could pick, increasing web traffic, for example. So if you have a web service, then you would use social media to increase traffic to your website, which then also, of course, benefits ranking and so on. So you can see that SEO, social media, and all the other things we're going to discuss here, they are not separate entities, they all belong together somehow. So don't just think only social media, only SEO. In the end, it all comes together anyways.